Chapter 41. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The third Kazekage is known as the strongest Kazekage in the history of Sand Ninja Village, and has a powerful magnetic escape blood inheritance limit. They know this basic information. It is not an exaggeration to say that he is the strongest ninja in Sand Ninja Village, but now the strongest ninja in Sand Ninja Village is chasing after him personally. It's over, it's really over now. Minato's heart sank to the bottom, Uchiha Mikoto's lips trembled, and she was already panicking inside. You are dead. If you take on such a mission in the future, my name will not be Yagami Qianyue. Throwing the person to the ground angrily, Qianyue moved her stiff neck and cursed, "The third Hokage is nothing, and he actually entrusted us with such a ridiculous task." Normally, Minato would have definitely retorted, corrected Qianyue, and stopped him from swearing, especially scolding the third Hokage. This is disrespectful. Minato wasn't in the mood to care about that right now. Death is imminent, so it doesn't matter if Qianyue scolds the top management of Konoha. Are you ready to see the Kazekage dance? Qianyue turned around and smiled at the two of them. It's a pity that Minato and Uchiha Mikoto couldn't laugh. It turns out there are really three little ghosts. Are you the ones who killed the red ghost? The third Kazekage stepped on the iron block condensed from iron sand and fell from the sky, landing not far from the three of them, looking at them curiously. It's really over. It was definitely the third Kazekage himself. Minato's lips moved. Qianyue, run quickly. I'll stop him. You must send the information back to the village. What the hell, go away. Chigetsu pushed Minato away, although he was touched that Minato was willing to sacrifice himself to save him, but Qianyue didn't need Minato to sacrifice. Silently looking at Minato who wanted to die, the third Kazekage couldn't help but think back to his childhood self. At that time, he also had two teammates who were loyal and willing to sacrifice. There's no need to fight, you can't leave. The third Kazekage was a serious person, and he would never act to tease his enemies, even if it's just three kids. Giving others hope and causing them to fall into despair was something he didn't even bother to do. The words of the third Kazekage made Minato and Uchiha Mikoto's heart skip a beat. Qianyue was not worried at all and asked, Kazekage-sama is chasing us three little chunin all by himself in the land of fire with such great fanfare. There's no need to play the emotional card, and there's no need to use aggressive tactics against me. Crossing his arms, the third Kazekage looked at Qianyue with eyes full of indifference. You can't run away from me. But I will send your bodies back to Konoha at the appropriate time. This can be regarded as the care of the juniors from the seniors. Sorry, I don't accept it. Send my body back to Konoha. God knows how many times your Sand Ninja Village has to study it before sending it to Konoha. It's best not to happen. Oh. The third Kazekage looked at him unexpectedly. Do you think you can escape from me? With a bit of contempt in his indifferent eyes, he paused and said, Is it possible? Everything is possible. I hope Kazekage-sama likes the gift I gave you. I hope your mental power is strong enough, otherwise you will be embarrassed. Instead of being afraid, Qianyue laughed. Is there something wrong with this kid's brain, or is he just scared out of his wits? At this time, Qianyue's eyes turned red, and the third Kazekage felt his body being uncontrollably drawn into a place with beautiful mountains and clear waters, surrounded by cherry blossoms in full bloom. It seems that I have fallen into the opponent's illusion. The third Kazekage was speechless and felt a little incredible at the same time. A kid could actually influence him with illusions. The third Kazekage didn't worry about his own safety, because he could break the illusion very quickly. Just why do I want to dance so much? What's the situation? Outside, Minato and Uchiha Mikoto saw a flash of red light in Qianzuki's eyes, and the third Kazekage remained motionless as if a body-holding technique had been cast. That's it, the dignified third Kazekage is actually dancing. My dear, is this true? Am I dreaming? Minato rubbed his eyes and even pinched himself. The pain in his thigh made him take a breath, telling him that this was all true. He wasn't dreaming. I just said that the third Kazekage can dance. You still don't believe it. Qianyue shrugged and threw a kunai, but the iron sand entrenched around the third Kazekage blocked the kunai. Pity. Magnetic Escape's automatic guardianship doesn't seem to be exclusive to Gaara. I really admire Scorpion for killing the third Kazekage without saying a word. It seemed that he killed him with poison. Let's go. His magnetic escape iron sand will protect the master. It will be difficult to kill him. It won't be long before reinforcements from the Sand Ninja village arrive. Qianyue picked up the person on the ground, turned around and left. Minato and Uchiha Mikoto, who were still sleepwalking, quickly followed. They even thought they were dead, but instead of dying, they were saved. Qianyue controlled the third Kazekage with just one illusion, which was amazing. Ridiculous. How did you do it? Minato and Uchiha Mikoto looked at Qianyue, full of shock and disbelief. Why can't I break away from the illusion? The third Kazekage, who was trapped in the illusion space, used his past experience to remove the illusion, but waiting for his result was useless. The most terrifying thing was that he couldn't help but start dancing under the influence of falling cherry blossoms and beautiful music. Qianyue wanted to say to this that just because the magnetic escape is strong, it does not mean that the mental power is strong. Ordinary illusion dispelling methods are useless against Sakura Fall, so, you better dance obediently. If Xiaobai hadn't grown to the second stage yet, Qianyue would have really wanted Xiaobai to send the third-generation Kazekage to heaven with a tailed beast jade. Your iron sand will protect the master, just see if they can block the tailed beast jade. It's just that Xiaobai, who has not grown to the second stage, will not be exposed if he can. In addition, the ninja army from Sand Ninja Village would arrive soon. Qianyue didn't want to cause more trouble, so she ran away decisively. It's better to leave enemies like the third Kazekage to the old impi like the third Hokage to deal with. You guys, don't get involved with me when it comes to issues between movies. I'm still a child. Chapter 42. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't know how much time had passed before the third Kazekage broke free from the illusion. Veins popped up on his forehead, as if he was enduring something. He covered his head with his hands and roared like a wild beast. Although the third Kazekage broke free from the illusion, he also paid a heavy price. That's mental damage. If it's just a dance, how can Sakura Fall make a large number of players keep charging money and go to the lottery to get it? This illusion does a lot of damage to mental damage, calculated by the game's damage value. It is almost as good as Uchiha Itachi's Tsukimi. Breathing heavily, the third Kazekage half knelt on the ground holding his head, his narrow eyes filled with bloodshot eyes. The tearing and stinging pain in his mind all the time almost made him faint. Damn you brat, I will definitely kill you. The fact that he has become like this is all Qianyue's fault. Even though he didn't know what Qianyue's name was, the third Kazekage swore that he would kill him first when he found the opportunity. Not only did he suffer such severe mental trauma, but he also danced so awkwardly. Thinking of the memory of his dancing just now, the third Kazekage's embarrassed toes almost dug out a 3-bedroom and 1 living room on the ground. This scandal must not be spread, otherwise he will die. The most powerful Fenging was actually possessed by an imp's illusion, and then danced seductively. That if this spreads out, will he still have the nerve to hang out in the ninja world? Kazekage-sama. After a while, reinforcements from Sand Ninja Village arrived. The third Kazekage covered his head, squatted on the iron plate, flew into the sky, and dropped a sentence. No need to continue chasing those brats. Start taking action as soon as possible. We must get enough harvest before Konoha reacts. He didn't want the ninjas in the village to see his miserable appearance, and he didn't want to send anyone to chase Qianyue. If Qianyue could still use the illusion just now, many of the ninjas in his Sand Ninja Village would be in trouble. I'm sure he will die in an unknown way just like the Red Ghost. The third Kazekage broke into a cold sweat at the thought of Qianyue attacking him with a kunai. Fortunately, the magnetic escape iron sand will protect the master, otherwise he would be dead. The short time he had to dispel the illusion was enough for Qianyue to kill him countless times. Damn it. Damn you brat, the method for dispelling this illusion is actually the other way around. With his forehead almost exploding, the third Kazekage accelerated his flying speed. He needed to find a quiet place to rest. Master Kazekage took action, but failed to defeat the opponent. Don't let us continue tracking, it seems the enemy is very difficult. The third Kazekage ran away, and the remaining ninjas of Suna Ninja Village looked at each other with confusion in their minds. After running away far enough, there were no pursuers behind him. Qianyue felt that the third Kazekage had given up and continued to pursue them. Let's take a rest. Uchiha Mikoto had reached her limit, and Minato wasn't much better. It's just that the journey is not that strenuous. The uncomfortable thing is that everyone is still carrying a big fat pig from Daming Mansion. I really don't know why these officials are so fat and strong. After carefully putting the person down, Minato sat on the ground exhausted, panting heavily. All the clothes on his body were wet with sweat, some were tired from the long journey, and some were frightened by the third Kazekage. It was so terrifying that the third Kazekage actually hunted them down personally. It was terrifying to think about it. Fortunately, Qianyue resolved the crisis, otherwise the grass on Namake's Minato's grave would be 1 meter tall next year. Minato was so tired, and Uchiha Mikoto wasn't much better either. At this time, she was sitting softly on the ground, not wanting to move. Drink of water, Qianyue handed the kettle to the two of them and looked up in the direction they came from. The other party has obviously given up the pursuit. We have enough time to slowly return to Konoha. I really want to chop up these 3 pigs with one knife. If it weren't for the fact that they were employers, Qianyue would have ditched them immediately. Qianyue, how did you do it? After resting for a while, Minato and Uchiha Mikoto also gradually calmed down. The two of them looked at Qianyue in unison, as if they wanted to see through all his secrets. Sitting on the grass, he took out the spare dry food and distributed it to the two of them. Qianyue ate the dry food and said casually, "That's how I did it. I developed an illusion technique with relatively strong control ability. Who knew that the third Kazekage would fall for it carelessly? Got caught by accident. Stop lying to us, it's completely a direct hit. Okay, we're not blind." Minato ate the dry food and gave Qianyue a pair of eyes. Glancing at the 3 people on the ground who had not yet woken up, Qianyue said to Minato and Uchiha Mikoto, "I hope you can hide a little bit about what happened today. Just say that we ran into the enemies of Suna Ninja Village. Don't tell the third Kazekage this part." "I won't tell." Uchiha Mikoto answered in the affirmative, not to mention that Qianyue specifically reminded her, even if Qianyue didn't say anything, she wouldn't tell anyone, unless Qianyue takes the initiative to talk about it. Minato is no longer the ignorant young Shota who liked to ask why. He was aware of some of the darkness in the village, and he also knew why Qianyue didn't want people to know about it. It will definitely not do Qianyue any good if the news spreads. On the contrary, it will make some people even more afraid. They will not believe in illusions, and will only stubbornly believe that all this is the power brought by the Sharingan, especially the suspicious third-generation Hokage, and Danzo who always thinks of the dark side in everything. Let's go, return to the village as soon as possible to be safe. The news of Suna Ninja Village's war against Konoha must be sent back as soon as possible. After resting for a while, the 3 of them took their baggage with them and continued on their way. Entering the hinterland of the country of fire, the 3 of them went straight to the sentry point on the road. Currently, the fastest way to send the message was to find the ninja on duty at the sentry point. They would send the news back to the village via the Ninja Eagle, Sr. Minato dropped the man he was carrying on the ground, raised his hand and shouted, "We are members of Qianyue team, escorting our employer to the kingdom of Kawa. On the way, we encountered the surprise attack team of Suna Ninja Village. The ninja army of Suna Ninja Village has invaded the country of fire. Please send the news back to the village as soon as possible, Senior." What? The ninja on duty was shocked when he heard this. 2 people were quickly separated to check the identity information of Qianyue and the others. After confirming that it was correct, they tied the information scroll to the Ninja Eagle's feet and released the Ninja Eagle into the sky. Chirp. With the information scroll in hand, the Ninja Eagle let out a cry, spread its wings and flew into the dark night sky. Take a rest first. Thank you for your hard work. If the information is true, you will be the heroes of the village. Chapter 43. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing that Minato and Uchiha Mikoto were so tired that they could hardly stand still, the ninja on duty quickly brought water bottles and dry food. The captain on duty at the sentry point said to the 3 people, "My name is Xiaomu Xiaozhua, and I am the captain on duty at the outpost. Please tell us the specific information about the enemy you encountered so that we can pass the information back to the village." "No problem." After resting for a while, Minato began to tell. Qianyue sat aside and was too lazy to speak. To be honest, he was quite tired himself. mainly because he helped Minato and Uchiha Mikoto share the pressure on the road. If it weren't for the fear of causing unnecessary trouble, Qianyue would really like to chop off the 3 burdens with one knife. Why are you so fat when you have nothing to do? If you can't run on your own, if someone carries you on your back, you'll almost die from exhaustion. Destroyed a team of Jonin? The ninjas at the outpost were shocked when they learned that Qianyue had destroyed a team of Jonin alone. Each one of them looked at Qianyue with disbelief but a bit of suspicion. This is the corpse of the enemy Jonin. If you return it to the village, we should be able to collect a lot of information. Qianyue took out the seal scroll. The captain on duty quickly opened the scroll to identify the authenticity. After seeing the face of the corpse, he confirmed the identity and the authenticity of the information. Minato didn't lie, it was just that the process was a little off. The team of Jonin was indeed destroyed and died at the hands of Qianyue. Even in a daze, they never dreamed that they would be overturned in such an inexplicable way. Not to mention them, even the 3rd Kazekage himself was wondering why he had been tricked. Not only was he injured, he was also almost embarrassed. Fortunately, the people from Suna Ninja Village arrived after he lifted the illusion. If he had arrived first, the 3rd Kazekage would really have died. There is no doubt that the identity of the deceased was a cookie, a Jonin from Suna Ninja Village, but how did Qianyue kill him? The captain on duty said apologetically, although I don't want to doubt it, I want to verify the authenticity of this matter. Please understand. I can understand the difficulties of seniors. If Qianyue is found out about falsely claiming military merit, Qianyue will be in trouble, and the captain on duty who helps deliver the information will also be in trouble. Qianyue closed his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes, the captain on duty looked at his pair of 3 Magatama Sharingan eyes and fell into silence. How talented is this kid? Is he a genius of the Uchiha clan? But is he really from the Uchiha clan? When did Uchiha get white hair? The 3 Magatama Sharingan are enough to prove the authenticity of all this. Qianyue. No one would doubt the Sharingan's ability to control genjutsu, and no one in the entire ninja world would question this. I will send the information in Chigui's body back to the village immediately. You have worked hard and have a good rest. The village will not forget your contribution. With a special transmission tool like the Ninja Eagle, the information scroll could be sent to Konoha in a short time. The mission of Qianyue and the others has been officially completed, and they can rest. The 3 rescued Daming Few officials learned that the ninja army of Sand Ninja Village surrounded the camp, and it was Qianyue and the others who rescued them all the way. The 3 of them were extremely moved and expressed all kinds of gratitude. Qianyue felt annoyed indirectly. Pushed Minato, the diplomat, out and dismissed these people. Uchiha Mikoto jumped onto the tree pole and sat next to him. She turned her head and looked at his young side face and smiled softly. Qianyue, after this incident spreads, I'm afraid the family will try to persuade you to return to Uchiha. Just ignore them. Qianyue spread her hands and said, I can't help but force me to return to the family and change my name if I don't want to. Uchiha is like a big thunder, whoever touches him will be unlucky. Qianyue has no interest in wading into muddy waters. Hearing this, Uchiha Mikoto smiled slightly and did not persuade her. She respects Qianyue's choice. No matter whether Qianyue is willing to return to Uchiha or not, she will firmly stand by Qianyue's side. The ninja hawk returned to Konoha as quickly as possible with the information scroll, and the information scroll was also sent to the desk of the 3rd Hokage. Suddenly the entire Hokage office building exploded. After receiving the news, Koharu and Mito Manabu rushed to the Hokage's office immediately. Sarutobi, is the news true? Is the Sand Ninja Village really calling in? At this moment, Koharu and Mito Menon, who had gone to bed, completely lost their previous self-control as elders. They moved quickly in a hurry and rushed in without even bothering to knock on the door. The information is true and there will be no mistakes. It seems that it was the 3rd Kazekage who personally led a surprise attack on our country, the Fire Country. The 3rd Hokage gave the information scroll to the 2 of them with a gloomy face. Hokage-sama. Before the 2 of them could check the contents of the scroll, someone from AMBU appeared in the Hokage's office. Hand a newly searched information scroll to the 3rd Hokage. The 3rd Hokage quickly opened it, and after taking a few glances, he stood up in shock. It's true that the 3rd Kazekage personally led the team. The body of Akari who was killed by Qianyue was sent to Konoha in the seal scroll. people from the intelligence department dug out the secrets in his brain, and the speculation that the third Kazekage personally led the team was confirmed. When they went to bed, Koharu and Mito Kadoyan's expressions became ugly, and they were even a little incoherent. How dare he? After so many years of peace, the Sand Ninja Village unexpectedly launched an undeclared war and launched a surprise attack on Konoha. The ninja army came to the Kingdom of Fire. It was also a credit to Team Qianyue for sending the information back in time, otherwise Konoha would still be blind. The enemies have arrived at the door of the house, and they still don't know what happened. Judging from the intelligence obtained, Qianyue and the other three have indeed made great contributions. Especially Qianyue. After killing the Red Ghost, the people from the intelligence department dug out a lot of precious information from his brain. Chigui's body was delivered promptly, calm. After glancing at Koharu, who was sleeping in a panic, the third Hokage frowned. The enemy has already invaded the Kingdom of Fire. What's the use of being anxious at this time? It is better to think about countermeasures and how to deal with the menacing enemy. Do you want to have peace talks with your ninja village? Mito Menden suggested. He cared more about Sand Ninja Village than Rain Ninja Village. Even if the military strength of the Rain Ninja Village has improved, the foundation of the Rain Ninja Village is weak. Even with Hanzo, a ninja who is known as a demigod, not many people take the Rain Ninja Village seriously. The 5 major ninja villages still pay more attention to opponents of the same level. The weight of Sand Ninja Village is obviously higher than that of Rain Ninja Village. It's hard. Peace talks are a good idea, but the war between Konoha and the Rain Ninja Village is currently in a stalemate. The two sides are fighting back and forth, and no one is convinced. It is impossible to go to peace talks at this time. Peace can only be negotiated if a winner is determined, or until the Rain Ninja Village can no longer hold on. If you go to Hanzo to talk to him because of the attack on Suna Ninja Village, Konoha will definitely suffer a big loss. This is not a situation that the third Hokage wants to see. Hanzo, who is on the front line, will not agree to peace talks. No matter what, the people of Sand Ninja Village must be driven out of the Fire Country first, and they cannot be allowed to plunder in the Fire Country. The Sand Ninja Village is poor and lacks everything, while the Fire Nation is just a big piece of fat. Even if they cannot invade the territory of the Fire Country, at least all kinds of resources are the targets of the Sand Ninja Village. Once the ninjas from Sand Ninja Village are allowed to cause trouble in the Country of Fire, the Country of Fire will be in chaos. The daimyo will definitely not be able to sit still. After sleeping, Koharu's words made sense. The third Hokage nodded slightly, and he agreed to drive out the people from Suna Ninja Village first, publish a recruitment notice, organize a ninja army immediately, and drive out the people of Suna Ninja Village no matter what. No matter what the price is. The third Hokage, who was in his golden age, was a forebearer, and he was not the old man who would always give in to peace talks in the future. At this time, not only was his strength at its peak, he was also full of courage. If you say we will fight without any ambiguity. I'll get ready. Mito Kadoyan stood up and left. Xiaochun also said after going to bed, I will mobilize the supplies of the logistics department and try to prepare all kinds of supplies before the army sets off. The third Hokage nodded expressionlessly and looked down at the information scroll on the table. The announcement was sent out overnight, causing an uproar throughout Konoha. The Sand Ninja Village actually launched a war without declaring a war and directly attacked the Country of Fire. The entire army came to the territory of the Country of Fire. This is great. For a time, countless villagers were yelling, and countless villagers came to the Hokage's office building to shout, ask the third Hokage to send troops to drive out the people of Sand Ninja Village. The recruitment announcement was issued, and the entire Konoha moved. Ninjas from each family began to gather together and join the army in proportion, compared with the large number of civilian ninjas. The backbone of Konoha has always been the ninjas of various large and small families. These talents are the foundation for Konoha to remain the leader of the 5 major countries. Sometimes quantity may not replace quality. To use an analogy, take Uchiha as an example. The Uchiha clan has enough jounin, more than 30, there are only a few hundred jounin in the entire Konoha, and jounin equivalent to Uchiha account for about 1/10 of Konoha. What's even more frightening is that when the jounin of the Uchiha clan confronts civilian jounin, there is almost no hope of winning one-on-one, unless it's a genius like Orochimaru or Jiraiya. Updates are filled, free gifts are available. You have enough updates, Red Heart. Chapter 44. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In addition to Jounin, there are also a large number of Chunin and Genin. This is just an Uchiha family. If you add other families, you can imagine how important these families are in Konoha. It can be seen from this that the third Hokage and Danzo tried every means to weaken the family's power, which was completely stupid. If you're afraid that your family will grow bigger and your rights will be affected, just say it clearly and don't talk about cultivating civilian ninjas. The most ridiculous thing is that by shouting to weaken the family and cultivate civilian ninjas, other families are constantly being weakened, but Shimura, Sarutobi, and several families are getting stronger and stronger. This was the famous scene of the Fourth Ninja War. The ninjas of the Sarutobi clan mobilized several thousand people, thousands of ninjas. What is this concept? Konoha was busy all over, and all of this had nothing to do with Qianyue and the others. After the three of them rested, they continued back to Konoha. As for the few burdens from Daming Mansion, people from Daming Mansion will come to take them back. Although the escort mission failed, the three of them made a lot of money because of their military exploits in transmitting intelligence. Team Qianyue, please go to the Hokage's office immediately to see the Hokage. As soon as I returned to the village, I could clearly feel that the atmosphere in the village had become tense, and the atmosphere of war was heavier than before. As soon as the three of them entered the village, someone from the ANBU came to inform them to go to the Hokage's office building to meet the third Hokage. Tired, the three of them arrived at the Hokage's office building. At this time, the Hokage's office building was still bustling. With the new war coming, it was difficult for the Hokage's office building to be quiet. Dong dong dong. Outside the Hokage's office, little Taeyang knocked on the door. Please come in. The third Hokage's voice came out, and the three of them opened the door and walked into the Hokage's office. At this time, the Hokage's office was crowded with people, among whom a white-haired man carrying a short sword stood out. Hatake Sakumo, the future White Fang of Konoha, a strong man who even the Sannin must respectfully call senior. At this time, Hatake Sakumo has not yet received the title of Konoha White Fang, but his strength has already become an elite Jounin, and his strength is much stronger than that of the three ninjas. Seeing Qianyue looking at him as soon as he entered the door, Hatake Sakumo raised his hand and grabbed a head of hair that was the same color as Qianyue and gave him a smile. Qianyue couldn't help but be stunned for a moment and nodded in response. Lord Hokage, Team Qianyue is here to recover. As the captain, Qianyue took 2 steps forward. Boys, you did a good job. The third Hokage's tense face slowed down, a soft smile appeared on his face, and he raised his hand to wave, motioning for him to come forward. Me? Qianyue looked around her and made sure that the third Hokage was letting her step forward, and then stepped forward. Was it the three of them who discovered the enemy's traces? It is said that the child named Shigetsu Yagami also destroyed a team of Jonin. Qianyue looked too young, a teenager with an immature look on his face. It was hard to imagine how he could destroy a Jonin team. Even if this Jonin team only has one Jonin leading the team, it is equipped with 3 Chunin. Many of these Jonin were unable to destroy each other single-handedly, and besides, the puppet masters of Sunan Ninja Village were notoriously difficult to deal with. A Jounin-level puppet master is even more difficult to guard against. Various poisons, poisonous needles, and endless attack methods can make you miserable, and you may overturn if you are not careful. But the puppet master who gave them all a headache fell into Qianyue's hands. This is somewhat unbelievable. Child, can you tell me how you encountered the enemy? Although the information scroll was very clear, the third Hokage still wanted to hear Qianyue say it himself. It's really troublesome. I'm exhausted, and now I just want to eat a good meal, then take a hot bath or hot spring, and have a good sleep. Qianyue murmured in her heart. Under the gaze of many Jonin and the third Hokage, Qianyue said, "Ah." The Qianyue squadron escorted the employers of Daming Mansion to the country of Sichuan, and camped and rested near the border. Among the squadrons, I was responsible for the vigil in the second half of the night. When I was checking the trap, I found a large number of unknown ninjas approaching. I had no choice but to wake up my teammates and leave the camp with 3 important employers. After we left, the camp was in chaos, and a Jonin team followed us. I asked my teammates to leave first, and I stayed to break up the rest. Information says that the illusion you used controlled. Other side. A Jonin with the Shimura clan emblem embroidered on his clothes questioned. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure that the information returned was true. I didn't mean anything else. You've already stood up and questioned me, and you don't have any other ideas? Why are people close to Danzo so disgusting? Are you from the Shimura clan? How do you want to prove it? Qianyue raised her head and looked at him coldly. You are going a bit too far. Are you going to embarrass a child like this? Although it is unbelievable that this child named Kianzuki Yagami destroyed a team of jonin, but it's a bit too much for you to question him in front of everyone. Hatake Tsukumo glanced at the other party and wanted to speak for Qianyue, but the third Hokage didn't say a word. He could only swallow the words that came to his lips. Don't you care? At this time, Sarutobi Hiruzen, the Hokage, actually sat on the chair without saying a word. Qianyue understood that even if this bastard of the Shimura clan was not instructed by the third Hokage, at least the third Hokage was doubting the accuracy of the information. How abominable. He actually suspected Qianyue. Minato glared at the other person, and Uchiha Mikoto puffed up her face, wanting to slap the other person. Qianyue guessed right, the third Hokage was suspicious. After all, Qianyue is too young. Even if he is a genius, such a record is surprising. What's more, the information also states that his Sharingan has been upgraded to the 3 Magatama Sharingan. What kind of divine speed is this? So when the Jounin of the Shimura clan jumped out and waved his hand in question, he chose silence and did not stop the other party, because he wanted to know if all this was true. Is Qianyue an incredible genius, or is he lying? What, is this illusion difficult to use? Seeing Qianyue looking at him coldly, Shimura Jounin continued to question. Kid, don't ever, in front of me. Just when he was about to ridicule Qianyue, a red light flashed in Qianyue's eyes, the 3 Magatama Sharingan opened, and his consciousness was directly involved in the illusion space. It's really the 3 Magatama Sharingan. This kid is only 9 years old, right? There's some little monster out of Uchiha. He is not an Uchiha but the only son of the Yagami family. It seems that he wanted to return to Uchiha before, but was rejected. Looking at Qianyue's 3 Magatama Sharingan and Shimura Jounin who fell into a sluggish state, all the Jounin couldn't help but started talking in low voices. When someone said that the Uchiha people refused Qianyue's return, the expressions on everyone's faces became wonderful. Are you Uchiha clansmen out of your mind? Are such geniuses being pushed outside? In the corner of the office, the Jounin Uchiha phone came on behalf of the Uchiha. His face was as black as the bottom of a pot. I scolded some of the family elders in my heart. As expected, Uchiha will definitely become the object of ridicule from other families tomorrow. This guy is a little too much. He has 3 Magatama Sharingan at such a young age, and his illusions are terrifyingly powerful. No, Jounin Shimura has already been tricked, and he doesn't even know how, etc. What is he doing? It's all true. The third Hokage was shocked, a little surprised, but also a little helpless. To my surprise, a real genius appeared in the village. Unfortunately, this genius has the blood of the Uchiha clan. Even if he didn't return to Uchiha, is Shimura Shutsu crazy? Shimura Shutsu, who was controlled by the illusion, was like a stupid puppet. With a flick of his hand, he spun around in a circle and started dancing. No, it was awkward dancing. Judging from his stiff body, you can tell at a glance that he is the type who can't dance, but under the control of illusion, she danced in an awkward way. Real dance. In the Hokage's office, many Jounin laughed softly. Shutsu Shimura's dance is really eye-catching. This kid named Qianyue Yagami is very damaging. When questioned, he will directly ask the other party to perform a dance club to death. It can be thought that after this dance in the Hokage's office, Shimura Shutsu will definitely become famous in Konoha, or even spread throughout the entire ninja world. Ahaha. The first one who couldn't help laughing was Hatake Tsukumo. Chapter 45. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was like a chain reaction. Hatake Tsukumo's laughter caused other Jounin to laugh too. Even Uchiha Fong, who was in an extremely bad mood, had a rigid expression on his face. A burst of laughter livened up the depressing atmosphere in the Hokage's office. It's just that the third Hokage didn't like such a lively atmosphere. When the news gets out, not to mention Hideyoshi Shimura, but also the Shimura family will become a joke. Minato and Uchiha Mikoto also laughed. Only Qianyue and the third Hokage didn't laugh. Qianyue was already prepared, but the third Hokage wanted to laugh but was embarrassed to do so. Ahem. In order to prevent himself from laughing out loud, the third Hokage coughed. Qianyue, please remove the illusion first. After all, he is your senior. You have proven that you have the strength to fight against and kill the Jounin. Tsunade really saw you right. Sorry, I can't untie it. Qianyue shrugged her shoulders and spread her palms to express that I would not do it. I can only use illusions, not unlock them. Well, the third Hokage didn't expect that he would take the initiative to show his kindness, but Qianyue didn't appreciate it and just said, that I can't solve it. Did this guy do it on purpose? Just because I was questioned, just because I wanted to test and verify. Help him undo the illusion. Looking at Shimura Shutsu, who was jumping more and more energetically, the muscles on the third Hokage's face twitched a few times. As soon as he finished speaking, the ANBU ninja appeared in the Hokage's office and raised his hand to help Shimura Shutsu undo the genjutsu. I followed the previous lifting methods, but found that it was useless. What's going on? The ANBU ninja was also a little confused and subconsciously looked at the third Hokage. The third Hokage suddenly had a headache. Now all the Jonin in the Hokage's office didn't laugh, because they couldn't laugh anymore. The people in ANBU were unable to break the illusion, which meant that if Qianyue used this illusion on them, they would not be able to break it like other illusions if they fell into it. Not being able to break the illusion means that Qianyue will be violently attacked when the illusion falls. This kid's illusion technique is a bit perverted. The way a group of Jonin looked at Qianyue changed. Don't look at me, I don't know how. This illusion is called Sakura Fall. People who are affected by the illusion can't help but start dancing. I'm not sure about the rest. After all, this illusion was just developed not long ago. Qianyue pushed 4, 5, and 6 anyway. I just don't know how, so what? Bite me, question me, it will be easier for you. If I don't let you lie in the hospital for half a month, I won't call you Yagami Qianyue. Qianyue, do you really not know how? The third Hokage's face turned serious. Qianyue answered calmly. Hokage-sama, everything I said is true. Now there's trouble. I wanted to test Qianyue, but I didn't expect that a big trick would be revealed. The third Hokage regretted not stopping Shimura Shutsu, otherwise the situation would not have been like this. Qianyue insisted that the illusion was just developed and would not be lifted, even if it was a lie. The third Hokage could not force him, saying that he must know it. How long can the illusion last? The stronger the mental power of a person, the shorter the duration of the illusion and the less likely it is to be controlled. Qianyue started to make it up. Believe it or not, it's up to you, but Sakura Fall is a must-win skill. Even if Madara Uchiha comes, he will still be shot. The difference is that a being like Uchiha Madara can easily undo genjutsu. Even if the shortcomings of Sakura Luo's illusion were exposed, Qianyue was not afraid. The power of exclusive skills increases as his strength grows. Now the third Kazekage can unlock the control of Sakura Fall on his own, but when Qianyue possesses the kaleidoscope or the eternal kaleidoscope, even if he was given twice as much time, he might not be able to solve it. Have someone help you. I don't care, anyway, if you unlock it, your spirit will be greatly impacted, except for Uchiha, who has activated his Sharingan, is a strong and mentally powerful ninja. Other ninjas will suffer from this kind of illusion. Just when the third Hokage was about to ask someone to take the humiliated Shimura Shutsu away, Shimura Shutsu suddenly screamed, vomited blood, fell to the ground, and his whole body was twitching. Ambition. Cun Shoi's huge reaction shocked everyone, being stared at by all the eyes. Qianyue calmly explained, a person who is hit by Sakura Fall will suffer serious mental trauma. With his Jounin strength, he can recover after lying in the hospital for 10 or 8 days. Kid, you are so cruel. The ANBU ninja who jumped out immediately to check Uemura Hideyuki's body subconsciously wanted to say that Qianyue was too cruel for being so cruel to the ninjas in his own village. As soon as the words were spoken, the 3 Magatama in Qianyue's eyes began to turn. The third Hokage saw this and said angrily, that's enough. Shimura Shutsu questioned Qianyue. It was his own problem to fall under the illusion. Qianyue was trying to prove himself, and it did not count as a move against his companions. The matter ended here and he was sent to the hospital for treatment. Is it so easy to treat mental trauma? You can guess it with your heels, and Shimura Shutsu will enjoy it next. The days during treatment were absolutely blissful. Yes. The ANBU people didn't dare to say any more and carried the person away obediently. The others looked at Qianyue with vigilance, fearing that Qianyue would do something to them too. Not to mention the awkward dance, it's embarrassing. The shame is not terrible, but the terrible thing is the mental trauma, which is not easy to treat. Qianyue, you did a good job. I will record your contribution to the village for you. You have worked hard too. Go back and rest first. Yes, Hokage-sama. Minato and Uchiha Mikoto saluted quickly. Qianyue turned around and left. Salute. I'm going to Nima's. Test me. Do you still want me to be respectful to you? Qianyue. Minato and Uchiha Mikoto were dumbfounded, looked at the third Hokage who looked unhappy, and hurriedly chased after him. The Hokage's office was quiet, so quiet that you could hear a pin drop. A group of jonin were afraid to express their anger, and everyone could see it. The probing and questioning just now made Qianyue have opinions about the third Hokage. Alas, the third Hokage's mouth twitched and he sighed. This child has obviously misunderstood me. Forget it, he is still young. He will understand my intention in the future. Let's continue the meeting. The third Hokage's explanation made many jonin sincerely admire him. Hokage-sama is really kind and righteous, even if he is dealing with rude children. He can always protect and tolerate them. Qianyue, you shouldn't be like this. No matter what, Hokage-sama is Hokage-sama after all. Minato was also very angry about Shimura Shutsu's doubts and the third Hokage's inaction, but if word spread about Qianyue being so rude, it would have a great impact on his reputation. He acquiesces and even hints to others to question me, so I still have to be grateful to him. Should I go to hell? Cursing loudly without concealing her anger, Qianyue ignored Minato and pulled Uchiha Mikoto away. Wait for me. Minato smiled bitterly and chased after him. I've already been scolded, what can I do now? That's it, the worst he can do is be punished and warned. It's still too impulsive and it's not worth it. However, it is indeed unkind for Lord Hokage to do this. He took all kinds of risks to send the information back, only to be questioned when it came back. No one could accept this result. Don't blame Qianyue for being violent. The third Hokage couldn't hear Qianyue cursing. I must have heard it, but unfortunately the third Hokage, who had already labeled himself a good guy, could only endure it. Otherwise, you will be slapped in the face. After all this trouble, Qianyue no longer even thought about taking a bath in the hot spring. He said goodbye to Uchiha Mikoto and Minato and went home directly. An hour later, Qianyue, who had just taken a shower and was eating, was reminded by Xiaobai that someone was coming. He raised his head and looked at the window. Expressionlessly, the man who had sneaked in seemed to know that he had been discovered, so he reluctantly opened the window and jumped in. Boy, you are too impulsive. No matter what you say, you cannot scold Hokage-sama. Chapter 46. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hatake Sakumo walked straight to the opposite side of Qianyue and sat down. He looked at the food on the table, sniffed and asked, Senior, can I give you a little? I've been busy all day and haven't eaten yet. Qianyue got up and went to get the dishes and chopsticks, and also took out the cooked food for tomorrow. After sitting down again, he gritted his teeth and said, I thought I was the hero of the village, but I didn't expect that I would get doubts and distrust. Why did Hatake Sakumo come? Because it looks pleasing to the eye. No, it was the third Hokage who asked him to come. Qianyue could guess it, so he showed his dissatisfaction unabashedly. I'm just unhappy. What's wrong with swearing? I've been questioned and wrongly accused, so I can't curse. No, you are the hero of the village. Hatake Sakumo ate the food and said hesitantly, without the intelligence and enemy corpses that you sent back in time, the country of fire would have suffered huge losses. Shimura Shutsu's doubts about you are not what Hokage-sama meant. He is a rather narrow-minded person and cannot tolerate others being better than himself. He is very hostile to geniuses. Damn it. This Shimura Shutsu must be mentally ill. Why did I provoke you? Sure enough, the Shimura clan are not good people. Everyone is extremely sick. Seeing that Qianyue remained silent, Hatake Sakumo continued, This guy has been like this since he was in school. Alas, I hope this incident can teach him a lesson. Besides, Chizuki's attitude of, "I don't believe it and I don't want to hear it," gave Hatake Sakumo a little headache. He came here at the behest of the third Hokage, in order to have a good talk with Qianyue and change Qianyue's mind. It's a pity that it has no effect. No matter what you say, you can't scold Hokage-sama, do you understand? Criticizing the Hokage? Qianyue widened her eyes. Don't talk nonsense. I haven't, I've never done such a thing. Have you never done this? Hatake Sakumo laughed in anger. Who was the person who just cursed outside the Hokage's office building? If Hokage-sama hadn't stopped him, the ANBU would have settled the score with you immediately. Isn't this called a curse? Do you think it's not a curse if you don't use a name? Anyway, I didn't curse. Believe it or not, I will pull you down if you don't believe it. I said I didn't scold you, so I didn't scold you. Anyway, I didn't mention it by name, so please don't name certain people, otherwise you will admit that you are hypocritical. Yes, you didn't scold me, you didn't scold me. Hatake Sakumo was finally convinced. If it were anyone else, he would have scolded him with a face, but Qianyue, thinking back to poor Shimura Shutsu, Hatake Sakumo felt that he was fine and it was better not to provoke this kid. To save himself, he gave himself an illusion that even he couldn't dispel, and made himself dance, and also suffer mental trauma. That would be great fun. Hatake Sakumo was not sure that he could escape Qianyue's illusion, if it is a genjutsu that relies solely on the Sharingan, you can still close your eyes or lower your head. If not, it's going to be tricky, so don't make trouble with this guy before you figure out the shortcomings of this Sakura falling genjutsu. Judging from the fact that Shigetsu did not hesitate to use illusions on Shimura Shutsu, Hatake Sakumo believed that if it were him, Shigetsu would also take action. It's better not to mess with this stupid young man. Boy, you have made a great contribution this time. Putting down the bowl and chopsticks, Hatake Sakumo patted his belly with satisfaction and leaned back on the chair leisurely. Although your teammates also have contributions, the biggest contribution lies with you, Hokage-sama. Let me tell you, the village will never forget your contribution. When the appropriate time comes, the battle achievements will be tallied up so that you can exchange them for the things you need, such as ninjutsu scrolls and so on. After saying that, Hatake Sakumo stood up and walked towards the window. By the way, the army will set off tomorrow. Do you want to go to the battlefield and perform meritorious service? No, I don't want to be questioned again about whether I lied after I killed the enemy and made meritorious service in the province. Qianyue snorted and reminded. Please come through the front door, thank you. Sorry. Hatake Sakumo's face turned red. He just did it subconsciously and didn't really want to climb through the window. It would already be embarrassing if I was caught climbing through the window when I arrived. Now he still climbs out of the window. Go, I'm afraid I'll lose my face. After leaving Qianyue's home, Hatake Sakumo came to the Hokage's office and explained the process of persuading Qianyue. It seems that this child has a deep misunderstanding of me. The third Hokage sighed. Hokage-sama, I think this boy is quite good. However, Shimura Shutsu's personal reasons led to things like this. Although the relationship was not smooth, at least Hatake Sakumo felt that Shizuki was a good person. If it weren't for Shimura Shutsu, this pot of soup wouldn't be stink. The third Hokage smiled and said, Tsunade has long said that this child deserves to be nurtured by the village. She was not wrong about the person. The child Qianyue is not a difficult person to get along with. It's just that what happened today made him a little disappointed. I believe he will get better. I hope so. I believe it won't be long before he can become the pillar ninja of Konoha. Hokage-sama, I will take my leave. He had to rush to the front line tomorrow morning, and there was no room for Hatake Sakumo not to care, although his main task is to lead several jonin teams to clear out enemies entering the land of fire one by one. Go ahead. The third Hokage waved his hand. Hatake Sakumo bowed and stepped back. The war between Sunagakure village and Konoha began, and a large number of Sunagakure ninjas entered the land of fire. Konoha continuously sent out ninja teams one after another to encircle and suppress, clean up, and drive the Sunagakure ninjas towards Kawa no Kuni. In just a short period of time, villages all over the country were attacked. A large amount of property was looted, and various supplies were also taken away. There are traumas everywhere in The Fire Nation, Hataki Sakumo, is already considered the second batch of reinforcements, and the number of ninjas from Sand Ninja Village entering the Fire Country far exceeds the imagination of the third Hokage. In order to curb the enemy's plunder as soon as possible, Konoha could only send batch after batch of teams to support. If I don't show you any face, you really think I'm easy to talk to? After seeing off Hataki Sakumo, Qianyue lay down to rest. After these days of hard work, he was very tired, no better than Minato and Uchiha Mikoto. Dong dong dong. Who? Early the next morning, Qianyue was woken up by a disturbing knock on the door while she was still sleeping, wearing pajamas. Qianyue opened the door. You, Uchiha Fugaku? The person standing at the door really surprised Qianyue. It turned out to be Uchiha Fugaku, the useless clan leader. Oh no, he is not the clan leader now, just the young clan leader. At first glance, Qianyue really didn't recognize it. If it weren't for his iconic flat mouth, Qianyue wouldn't have connected him with the future Uchiha Fugaku. Even though he was only a teenager, Uchiha Fugaku looked a little too mature, just mature. His face with no other expressions, coupled with the corners of his mouth that drooped to both sides. This combination makes people look at it. It's just amazing. It is said that Uchiha is rich in handsome men and beautiful women, but Uchiha Fugaku did not inherit such excellent genes. Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke are both more handsome than the other, and they definitely inherited Uchiha Mikoto's excellent genes. As for Uchiha Fugaku, as for good genes, don't mess with your genes, it will be a good thing. Naruto fans can't even look at Itachi and the second pillar because they look just like you. It's me. A small smile appeared on Uchiha Fugaku's expressionless face, but this smile did not make him look very kind. On the contrary, it makes people think that he looks uglier when he smiles. What do you find me for? Except for Uchiha Mikoto and her mother, Kianzuki didn't have a good impression of other Uchiha people. This reminded him of his mother pleading with him to return to Uchiha. The funny thing is that the other party refused because he was a white-haired man. To an Uchiha, the white hair was particularly dazzling. Ridiculous reason for rejection. Fortunately, Senju Itama was born into a Senju clan. If he were reincarnated into an Uchiha, his hair would be half white and half black, and he would definitely be regarded as a monster. Can we go in and talk? Uchiha Fugaku pointed inside the house. It was really inappropriate to talk while standing at the gate. Sorry, can't. Qianyue didn't give Uchiha Fugaku any face. No matter who he came to represent, whether it was the Uchiha clan leader or a certain Uchiha elder, Qianyue would not give them a good look. If it weren't for the fear of putting Uchiha Mikoto and her family in trouble, Qianyue would have thought of expelling them directly. The strange smile on Uchiha Fugaku's face slowly solidified. He probably didn't expect that Qianyue would be so disrespectful, even if he was the young leader of the Uchiha clan. They won't even let you in. Uchiha is the largest family in Konoha. It's not something a little person like me can reach. Please don't affect my life. With that said, Qianyue planned to close the door, but you have Uchiha blood in your body. Your mother is also a member of the Uchiha clan. Uchiha Fugaku's standard stern face recovered. Yes. Qianyue smiled. So when my mother and I needed help, my mother begged and begged, hoping to return to Uchiha. Unfortunately, I was rejected because I had white hair that was out of place. He smiled and pointed at his hair. The smile on Qianyue's face gradually disappeared, and her eyes became cold. This is the first time, and I hope it will be the last time. Next time there are Uchiha people standing at my door, I will not be polite to you. My bloodline was given to me by my mother. If you don't accept it, why bother coming back to persuade me? You go to your sunny island, and I cross my single plank bridge. Bump. Almost hitting his nose with the door, Uchiha Fugaku subconsciously took a step back. His face is as ugly as he wants to be. The dignified young Uchiha clan leader dropped everything and ran to the door shamelessly, but he couldn't even get in and was even threatened. This is simply a disgrace. What made Uchiha Fugaku most uncomfortable was that he couldn't do anything to Qianyue. Even if he wants to commit evil, he still has to find the right opportunity, or wait for Qianyue to leave the village. Besides, Qianyue's black hands are so easy to kill. The news that Shutsu Shimura is famous for his silly dance has spread throughout Konoha. Who the hell wants to find it uncomfortable? TSK. Sure enough, no matter which world, some people have the same face. When he sees you unhappy, he will care whether you live or die, and may even step on you severely. When you are worth winning over, you will come to your door again. So what if I don't give you Uchiha Fugaku face? When I don't have the strength to protect myself, I just avoid you. Now that I have the strength to protect myself, how can I save face for you? It's quite a beautiful thought. Shimura Shutsu became famous, completely famous, but the Shimura family would rather not have this kind of fame, because Shimura Shutsu and his Shimura clan couldn't hold their heads up. Some excited Shimura clan members even clamored for Qianyue to look good. Fortunately, they are just clamoring. In Konoha, they will not easily find fault with Qianyue, otherwise it will be internal fighting. This cannot be allowed to happen. Even if Danzo was able to control the sky later, he was still messing around in secret and did not dare to bring it to the table. Qianyue didn't have time to worry about this. At this moment, he just wanted to have a good sleep. However, things didn't go as planned. Not long after Qianyue lay down, then I heard the door open. The door was opened, and a strange little head with red hair came in and looked around quietly. The person coming was none other than Kushina. After observing, Kushina breathed a sigh of relief when she didn't see Qianyue. He quickly placed the lunchbox he brought on the table and closed the door gently, unaware that she was afraid of the noisy person. She was rubbing her temples and looking at her like a thief with a headache. What are you doing? Ah! Someone suddenly spoke behind her, and Kushina, who was already panicking and extremely nervous, was like a frightened deer, screaming and jumping up and down. At this time, Kushina was extremely helpless. All the Jinchuriki, Zahira, and super senses were gone, totally like an ordinary little girl. Qianyue, you scared me to death. Kushina glared at him angrily and stamped her foot. Her little heart was jumping up and down, yawning. Kianzuki rolled her eyes at Kushina and walked towards the bathroom. How do you have the key to my house? It looks like I can't sleep this late, because I live next door. Kushina shook the key proudly. I told the uncle who opened the door that I had left my key at home, and he opened the door for me and gave me a key. Brushing, Qianyue almost choked to death on the toothpaste foam. Is there such a saucy operation? You're so good at this, why don't you become a thief? The thief didn't know how to knock on the door, so he just took the key to someone else's house. Updates are filled, free gifts are available. I have enough updates. I love you all, Redheart. Chapter 47. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Opening the lunchbox with a smile, Kushina sat on the chair, put her chin with one hand, and said happily, I heard this morning that you taught that bastard from the Shimura family a lesson, so I asked the Anbu uncle who followed me to make sure you were back in the village, so I brought you a lunchbox. It seems you get along well with the Anbu people. After washing her face and brushing her teeth, Qianyue walked out, glanced at the lunchbox, sat down, picked up a grilled chicken wing, and started eating. Hataki Sakumo suddenly came to the door last night, and he also brought out the cooked food he had prepared. Who would have thought that this white hair could eat better than him? So he didn't even have enough to eat. I happen to be a little hungry now. Kianzuki ate with gusto. And Kushina was very happy. How did you know I opened the door? I was obviously very careful. You have such a big nine-tails inside you, how can you not be discovered? Xiao Bai is almost jumping out of his skin. Besides, I was already awake. Qianyue casually threw the chicken bones on the table. In front of you, the young leader of the Uchiha clan knocked on the door, so he was woken up. As soon as he lay down, he heard the door open. So that's it. Kushina stuck out her tongue in embarrassment. Grilled chicken wings, grilled chicken legs, grilled beef. Kianzuki had to admit that the lunchbox prepared by Kushina was too rich. The most important thing is that the taste of this thing is similar to the Akimichi clan's barbecue. The smell is very familiar. While eating beef, Qianyue asked curiously, It smells like the Akimichi clan's barbecue. Where did you get the recipe? Bought it from Uncle Hokage. Kushina nuzzled her little nose with an expression that said, I am awesome. The big fat guy from the Akimichi family was so disgusting that he wouldn't sell it to me no matter how much I paid. Finally, I went to Uncle Hokage and bought it for 100,000 taels on the premise that I would only use it for myself. Qianyue, the Akimichi clan members had probably fainted from crying in the toilet. I'll probably beg my grandpa to tell my grandma, hoping that you won't reveal the secret recipe. Qianyue will give her full marks for Kushina's operation. Fortunately, she could still think of a way to find the third Hokage to come forward. if it had been anyone else, they would never have gotten the Akimichi clan's secret barbecue recipe. The third Hokage personally came forward, even if the Akimichi clan didn't want to give it. All we can do is ask Kushina to write a guarantee and she will never let it out. Qianyue couldn't help laughing when she thought of the aggrieved looks in the eyes of those fat men in the Aikido family. Kushina is so talented, praise me, I'm awesome. Kushina kept hinting at Qianyue, but Qianyue didn't pay attention and looked up at the window. Click. The window was opened, and a little yellow fur got in, and his body was still hanging on the window. When he saw the two people staring at him in the living room, the proud smile on his face froze. Ahem. Well, I'm afraid of disturbing you, so it's more convenient to go here. Minato explained awkwardly. Minato, how could you climb through the window? It's so rude. Kushina the evil one complained first. Minato was immediately embarrassed. Qianyue was speechless. Your behavior of secretly asking the locksmith to open my door and provide the key was no better than Minato climbing through the window. Smell good. Minato was about to find an excuse when he suddenly sniffed and couldn't move his eyes away from the lunchbox. It's the smell of barbecue. Qianyue, you really enjoy it. Minato went to get the chicken legs while angrily scolding Qianyue for his evil deeds. Snapped. Hiss. Minato covered his hands and jumped up, the back of his hands turned red. Kushina saw Kushina put her hands on her hips. This is the breakfast I prepared for Qianyue. Do you want to eat it? Go and make it yourself. Ah. Sister Mikoto, are you here? Minato, who was full of grievances, suddenly rolled his eyes and looked towards the door in surprise. Ah. Sister Mikoto. Kushina was immediately fooled and turned around subconsciously. However, there was no Mikoto-san. Minato quickly grabbed the chicken legs and ran to the side to eat them. Kushina was so angry that she wanted to hit someone after being deceived. Seeing the two living treasures fooling around, Qianyue also enjoyed watching the show. As for Minato's hint of asking for help. Sorry, I didn't see anything, just take care of yourself. After Kushina left, Minato bared his teeth and covered his face. Kushina punched her in the face, it hurt a lot, and she was in tears. Shaonizi is very cruel, mainly because Minato lied to her. Kushina was so cruel. As time goes by, Kushina has shown signs of developing toward Tsunade. If you are in doubt, just punch it. If one punch doesn't work, just punch again. Qianyue is very glad that Tsunade has not taught Kushina the strange power technique yet, otherwise Kushina would have gained more strange power. No one knows how many people will suffer. Yes. Who told you to lie to her? Have you forgotten that Kushina hates people lying to her the most? Qianyue smiled happily, laughing heartlessly. Who told you to eat alone? Minato bared his teeth. By the way, you're famous, you know that? There's also that jounin of the Shimura clan, Roshiko. Where did you learn this tone of voice? I learned it from you, can you say I can't learn it? Famous? Qianyue didn't care, not many people in Konoha really knew him anyway. As for the iconic white hair, this hair color is not uncommon in Konoha, and Qianyue is not afraid of being recognized when walking on the street. Qianyue. What? There's something wrong with little son today, he's nagging. Qianyue looked at him suspiciously. What could be so exciting to Minato, and what made this kid start to feel weird so early in the morning? A new war is coming. Do you think we will go to the battlefield? Under Qianyue's gaze, Minato held it in for a long time before saying this. I really thought you wanted to express something, but after holding it in for a long time, you just said this? Go away. Qianyue kicked Minato out. Whether we go to the battlefield or not is something that the senior management should decide, not us. So what if a new war comes? This is not something you or I can control. It's really too easy to worry about it. If he has time to worry about this, he might as well think about what to eat for lunch. The third Hokage wasn't in a hurry. He was in a hurry. No matter how fierce the war is, can it reach Konoha? No matter how you think about it, it is impossible. As for the rest, why worry about so much? Do you want to have dinner together today? Minato's eyes lit up when he saw Qianyue opening the refrigerator and checking what was left in the refrigerator. In order to prevent it from being too late to buy, Qianyue often buys some extra meat and puts it in the refrigerator. When she wants to eat it, she takes it out and cooks it. You cook? Qianyue looked back at Minato. Minato's smile faltered and he scratched his head. Well, ahaha, I want to cook. You also know that I like cooking. Unfortunately, my cooking skills are not as good as yours. I'm afraid that Sister Mikoto and Kushina will be disappointed. Still the old rules, I buy the groceries and you are responsible for the rest. Fine. It's good to get together occasionally, and with this mission, Minato and Uchiha Mikoto were both frightened, so they should eat something delicious to soothe their injured hearts. After thinking for a moment, Qianyue agreed, then leave the grocery shopping to me. When Minato heard this, he got excited and ran outside regardless of the fist marks on his face. Kushina is really cruel. I hope Minato's face won't swell. Shaking his head, Qianyue began to prepare some ingredients. He could guess what Minato would buy with his toes, just those things going back and forth. People in the Naruto world don't pay as much attention to food as they did in the previous life, and the variety of dishes is not rich. You want to play some new tricks, but you still can't find enough materials. It's information about the village. Chapter 48. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In the hidden cave, Orochimaru took off the information scroll from the ninja eagle's feet and released the ninja eagle. Old man Jiraiya, who had a dirty face, as if he hadn't washed his face in several days, yawned and looked a little out of place. The battle between Konoha and Rain Ninja Village continued all the time, and the three of them were very tired. Tsunade sat on the wood nearby and remained silent. She was the most tired person in the team. Not only do you have to fight, but you also have to treat the wounded and prepare various potions. With such a free time, Tsunade just wanted to have a good rest and didn't want to pay attention to the affairs of the village, who asked the third-generation old man to let Danzo be the frontline commander. Just messing around, is the Nara dear heart bad? You need to be resourceful, you need to have intelligence, you need to have qualifications, not like those who catch blind people like Danzo. It's a pity that the third Hokage still appointed Danzo as the frontline commander. When he opened the information scroll, Orochimaru's upright snake pupils shrank. What's wrong? Jiraiya saw something was wrong with Orochimaru and looked over. Tsunade also opened her eyes and glanced over with tired eyes. The Sand Ninja Village declared war on Konoha, and the third Kazekage led the ninja army into the land of fire. Orochimaru smiled playfully and threw the scroll to the stunned Tsunade. The little guy you are interested in is amazing. He opened the 3 Magatama Sharingan at a young age and successfully destroyed a team of Jonin. He is good at illusions and can easily control Jonin. It's a pity that this little guy is not very obedient. The old man asks you to go back and take him to practice for a while. What Qianyue did was disobedient in the eyes of the third Hokage. Fortunately, Qianyue didn't give Uchiha any face, and she had no idea of returning to Uchiha, so the third Hokage sent information to Tsunade on the front line. In addition to informing them of the news that Suna Ninja Village had declared war on Konoha, he also asked Tsunade to return to Konoha. After returning to Konoha, he took Qianyue with him to teach him, hoping that through this method, Qianyue could establish a sense of belonging. What? Jiraiya couldn't help but be surprised. Is it that brat Yagami Kianzuki? Jiraiya wanted to grab the scroll, but unfortunately he was greeted by Tsunade's fist. With a scream, Jiraiya pressed directly against the rock, shook his body twice, and slowly slid down from the rock. Tsunade is still anxious to read the scroll. If you go and grab it now, aren't you looking for a fight? Orochimaru, who has not yet turned black, is actually very easy to get along with. For example, he would occasionally joke with Jiraiya and Tsunade. However, the unlucky guy Naoki directly changed Orochimaru's life. After looking at the scroll, Tsunade pondered. I didn't expect this kid to grow up so fast. His Sharingan has advanced to the level of 3 Magatama, and his Genjutsu can easily control Jonin. No wonder the old man is anxious. When do you plan to go back? Orochimaru leaned against the rock and looked at the heavy rain that was still falling outside the cave. As soon as possible. The third Hokage didn't want to, and Tsunade didn't want Kianzuki to get too close to Uchiha. In that case, Kushina would have to completely cut off her relationship with Qianyue. Tsunade didn't want to see Kushina miserable. Really, besides being handsome and talented, what else is good about this kid? Why is it so attractive to girls? Kushina was so stupid. It's not good to like anyone, but I like this person. Bring Minato with you. Jiraiya, who was paralyzed on the ground, slowly raised his hand. Tsunade. Orochimaru. I brought a friend here, should it be okay? Minato smiled apologetically and pulled out Nara Shikaku, who was standing next to him with his mouth twitching. Qianyue, long time no see. Come in, don't stand at the door blocking the way, you're not a stranger. Qianyue looked outside, but did not see the other two people from Zhu Lu Dai. It seemed that only Nara Shikaku followed Minato. This year's Zuludi was originally from the same class as them, but they were not in the same class. As a result, Qianyue and Minato skipped a grade later. They didn't come. I met Minato at the market and chatted for a few words, so I accepted Minato's invitation to come for dinner. Nara Shikaku explained, just in time, go help Minato wash the vegetables. Qianyue, without noticing anything, he pulled him in and pushed him towards the kitchen. Wash the dishes? Nara Shikaku didn't expect that he would come to the dinner party as a guest, but Qianyue asked him to wash the vegetables. Minato was not surprised by this, and he did not forget to smile. This is Kianzuki's rule. We can have dinner together, but we need to divide the work. I usually buy groceries, he is responsible for cooking, and Kushina and Mikoto-san are responsible for cleaning up after eating. I was shocked. I thought that every guest had to work when they came to the door. Nara Shikaku breathed a sigh of relief, but soon frowned seriously, because washing vegetables seemed to be troublesome. Moreover, Minato bought a lot of things. Even if two people cooperated, it would still be a struggle. This was not something he was good at. Alas, looking at Minato who was already busy, Nara Shikaku could only sigh and bravely walked into the kitchen. Clang. Unfortunately, less than 2 minutes after entering the kitchen, there was a loud noise and Minato's voice of disgust. It's a wrong decision for you to go out and ask you to help. I just washed the things. Sorry, I didn't mean to. With a smile, Nara Shikaku exited the kitchen, feeling embarrassed. Qianyue laughed and bent over. The majestic young man of the Nara clan couldn't even wash vegetables. Looking at the way he entered the kitchen, he was more nervous than during actual sparring, and his whole body was tense. Sit down, you don't need to be out in public, it will be more lively if there is one more person. After laughing for a while, Qianyue invited Nara Shikaku to sit down, brought him a bottle of water, and asked, have you graduated? Well, I just graduated. It's just that because of the outbreak of the war, the jounin in the village is a little tight, and we haven't arranged to instruct the jounin yet. Nara Shikaku nodded and answered, inherited disciples like Ino Shikacho don't need to worry about guiding jounin at all. The village will arrange for them to have a strong jounin to lead the team. Unlike other teams, they are picky. Children like you from a big family are more comfortable. Qianyue couldn't help but sigh. Nara Shikaku was speechless. I heard from my father that the village originally planned to let Tsunadeheim be your teacher, but you rejected it. In fact, I should be envious of you. Qianyue, we are here. Kushina pulled Uchiha Mikoto and ran in with some snacks. When she saw Nara Shikaku sitting in the living room, she asked curiously, who is this? It looks familiar, I think I've seen it before, but I can't remember who it is. The Nara clan is considered a big clan in Konoha, but it's a pity that Kushina never cares about this. When she was in school, she had seen Nara Shikaku with sky-high braids, but she had never come into contact with him. So I just felt familiar, but couldn't remember who the other person was. This is Nara Shikaku, a classmate from the same class as ours, from the next class. Qianyue introduced. Chapter 49. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Kushina showed a surprised expression and smiled. Hello, I'm Kushina, nice to meet you. I'm Nara Shikaku, nice to meet you. Nara Shikaku looked a little restrained. The main reason for his restraint was the legend of red pepper that Kushina left in school. He could always hear other students saying how cruel Kushina was and how painful it was to hit someone. Now that I finally see myself, it would be a lie to say that I am not nervous. I am Uchiha Mikoto. Compared to Kushina, Nara Shikaku felt that Uchiha Mikoto would be easier to get along with, because Uchiha Mikoto has been famous for her gentle temper since she was in school. Is it my imagination? This guy with pigtails seems a little afraid of me. Am I so terrible? You're normal when you're facing Sister Mikoto, but you're scared when you're facing me. The way Kushina looked at Nara Shikaku began to change. There is murderous intent. Nara Shikaku, who was chatting with Chizuki about freshmen, suddenly felt a chill on the back of his neck. He subconsciously turned around and saw Kushina, who was clenching her fists and her hair started to flutter. I don't think I did anything, the blood-red pepper is going crazy. Is this aimed at me? Ahem, okay, Kushina, this is Shikaku's first time visiting, you will scare him. Seeing Nara Shikaku facing a formidable enemy, she almost had the urge to run away. Qianzuki spoke up in time to stop her, otherwise Nara Shikaku might be beaten. What happened? Who provoked Kushina? Noticing the situation in the living room, Minato shook the water on his hands and ran out. Unexpectedly, he met Kushina's eyes that were almost spitting fire. The dishes haven't been washed yet. I'll wash the dishes first. You continue. Minato decisively returned to the kitchen, pretending that he didn't see anything and that everything had nothing to do with him. Depend on, Minato came in a hurry and ran away in a hurry. Nara Shikaku was stunned by this move. Can you be more exaggerated? Okay, let's go take out the pastries. The considerate Uchiha Mikoto walked forward with a smile and pulled Kushina away. The crisis was successfully resolved. Sure enough, I shouldn't have come to join in the fun. The red peppers are too dangerous. I must stay away from them in the future. How could Minato like such a girl? It's absolutely terrible. Nara Shikaku's heart skipped a beat and he was sweating profusely after finishing the meal. He just found an excuse after the meal and couldn't wait to leave. It was as if something terrible was chasing him from behind. I don't want to see him again. If you invite friends like this again next time, I will beat you up. Nara Shikaku's heart was trembling with fear after eating this meal, and Minato's little heart was jumping up and down. Kushina was furious. She felt something was wrong. Nara Shikaku seemed to be deliberately displeased with her, hiding in various ways. Is she a monster? Hateful. Ahaha. Well, I have something else to do, so I'll leave now. See you tomorrow. Originally, he wanted to drag Qianyue to train together, but looking at the situation, Minato thought it would be better for him to run away first, otherwise Kushina would really hit someone. You can run fast. Humming and wiping her nose with her thumb, Kushina expressed her displeasure. Uchiha Mikoto persuaded her for a while before she calmed down. Father, Yagami Qianyue refused and didn't even give me a chance to come in and persuade her. In the clan's mansion, Uchiha Fugaku knelt down in shame in front of the Uchiha clan leader, his head lowered. He didn't dare to look up at his father for fear of seeing disappointment on his face. Glancing at his frightened son, the Uchiha clan leader looked as usual and said calmly, If his mother was still alive, there should be a chance, but it's a pity. Shaking his head, he poured himself a cup of tea. You don't need to worry about this matter. Take over the police department with peace of mind. I, Uchiha, have not fallen to the point where we will decline if we lose a genius. I believe that one day, he will change his mind. After all, we are the Uchiha who know the Sharingan best. Wave. But the great elder, madness. Slamming the teacup on the table, the Uchiha clan leader angrily said, What you need to care about is how to take over the police department and how to convince the people in the police department to follow you, rather than caring about the opinions of the great elder. Yes. Uchiha Fugaku's head continued to lower. After scolding his son, the Uchiha clan leader took it easy. Only then did it calm down. Go to Uchiha Mikoto's home and talk to her mother, and tell her that I suggest her daughter join the police department. If I can't deal with you Chizuki Yagami, why can't I drag Uchiha Mikoto into the police department? As long as Uchiha Mikoto is in the police department, Qianyue will never go against Uchiha, unless Uchiha takes the initiative to provoke him. After all, Uchiha just refused to let him return and didn't do anything else to add insult to injury. Coupled with the dealings between Uchiha Mikoto and her daughter, even if Qianzuki continues to grow, she will not take the initiative to embarrass Uchiha in the future. So what does it matter if Qianyue has any opinions on Uchiha? The most powerful family in the ninja world is afraid of a child. Yes, I will visit you immediately. Uchiha Fugaku breathed a sigh of relief. No matter how many times he faces his father, he always feels nervous and worries that his father will disappoint him. Late at night, Uchiha Fugaku brought gifts and came to visit. and convey the patriarch's wishes on his behalf. How to convince Sister Mikoto. At this time, Qianyue was also having a headache at home. A new war has broken out. Even if a large number of ninjas from Sand Ninja Village enter the Country of Fire, they will be driven out sooner or later. Konoha will never allow the battlefield to be at its doorstep. It is absolutely necessary to push the battlefield to the Kingdom of Wind. If this is not feasible, we must enter the Kingdom of Sichuan. When the time comes, Qianyue may go to either side of the battlefield of the Kingdom of Sichuan or the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain. The village would never let him sit idle and do nothing all day long. Qianyue is not afraid of war, but he needs to consider the people around him, such as Uchiha Mikoto. That's it for Minato. If he really goes to the battlefield, Jiraiya will definitely take care of him to some extent, but if Uchiha Mikoto is transferred to the front line with him, she may face many dangers, so Qianyue hopes that she can stay in the village, or simply join the police department first. After joining the police department, even if the village recruits ninjas, she will not be recruited. The idea was good, but Qianyue was not sure how to convince the other party. He was afraid that if he spoke, Uchiha Mikoto would explode. Let's take a look at the reminder gifts. I've had enough updates. I love you all, Red Heart. Chapter 50. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Early the next morning, Qianyue, who was still sleeping in, was once again awakened by the sound of the door opening. He thought it was Kushina, but it turned out to be Uchiha Mikoto, rubbing her eyes and walking out of the bedroom. Qianyue yawned and asked, Sister Mikoto, are you okay with coming here so early? It's getting late. With a gentle smile, she placed the lunch box on the table, and Uchiha Mikoto pulled Qianyue to sit down. Eat something first, and then I'll tell you why you came here so early. Is something really wrong? Wait, I haven't brushed my teeth yet. Looking at the delicious food in the lunch box, Qianyue hesitated for 3.5 seconds. I decided to eat first and then take my time to wash up. Qianyue, I may have to quit the squad and join the police department. Smiling, watching Qianyue devour the food she made, Uchiha Mikoto's smile slowly disappeared after Qianyue had almost eaten. He put on a disappointed look, lowered his head and whispered, join the police force. Qianyue was stunned. He is still thinking about whether to speak. And when he spoke, what reasons were used to convince the other party, but Uchiha Mikoto said at first, this is considered sleepy. Do you have a pillow? Qianyue couldn't help but be amused by her own thoughts. It's probably because of Auntie. Qianyue stuffed the last piece of pastry into her mouth and looked at her. Uchiha Mikoto nodded awkwardly. Last night, the young clan leader Uchiha Fugaku came to the house. On behalf of the clan leader, he came to discuss with my mother. He said that he was very optimistic about me and hoped that I could join the police department to do civilian work. The family would also send a jounin to guide me in my practice. Mom has agreed. She hopes that I can get the best growth. After all, the person who knows the Sharingan best is Uchiha. In terms of the use of Sharingan, Qianyue is definitely not as good as those Uchiha jounin who have used Sharingan for many years. With the guidance of such a jounin, Uchiha Mikoto's strength will definitely improve a lot quickly, and she will continue on the right path. What to do? Will Qianyue agree? If he is angry, how should I comfort him? Uchiha Mikoto's heart was in a mess. This is a good thing. They were all prepared for Qianyue's anger, but Qianyue's words were a good thing. Uchiha Mikoto was confused, putting down her chopsticks. Qianyue raised her hand and pinched Uchiha Mikoto's face. Actually, Sister Michin, if you hadn't said anything, I would have advised you to join the police department first. When a new war comes, the village will definitely not let me idle. Next, I may be sent to the battlefield of the Kingdom of Kawa or the battlefield of the Kingdom of Rain. There is a high possibility that Minato and I will leave. If you stay in the village and don't have a suitable team, you might as well join the police department as a civilian and get training from the Uchiha. But wouldn't it be very dangerous if you went to the battlefield? Uchiha Mikoto even forgot that Qianyue was pinching her little face, causing her words to leak a little. At this time, she was worried about whether Qianyue would be in danger if she went to the battlefield. How come? Seeing that it was almost done, Qianyue quickly let go. If you squeeze it for a while, it will leave fingerprints. He smiled and said confidently, even if I go to the battlefield, I will be the one to kill the enemy. There is no chance that the enemy will come to kill me. Aren't you still assured of my strength? I believe you. You can only kill the enemy, but the enemy cannot kill you. You have done a great job in this sweet dream, however, Qianyue's strength does allow him to protect himself on the battlefield. Get up and walk towards the bathroom, so what are you worried about? If you stay in the village, you can always accompany Kushina. Kushina will definitely be very happy if she knows you can stay. Uchiha Mikoto couldn't help but chuckle at the thought of Kushina's success. After Qianyue's persuasion, Uchiha Mikoto put down her worries and successfully joined the police department and became a civilian official of the police department. It is said that the salary is quite high. Several days passed in succession, and wars were raging all over the land of fire. People in Sand Ninja Village were acting like monsters everywhere, and Konoha could only send people to encircle, suppress, and drive them away. What surprised Qianyue was that no orders were handed down from the village. Qianyue, could we have guessed wrong? By the river where they were training, Minato and Qianyue were sitting together and eating grilled fish, who knows? Not to mention Minato, Qianyue herself was wondering, could it be that the third Hokage had changed his gender? It shouldn't be. Fighting on two fronts, Konoha's military strength has begun to be tight. Konoha even recruited ninjas from various families to enter the battlefield for the second time. There is no reason to leave them in the village, let them do nothing and just sit leisurely, throwing the fish bones into the fire. Qianyue joked. Why, are you so eager to go to the battlefield? How can it be? Minato's voice rose to a high pitch. Although he is not afraid of going to the battlefield, he is not a person who likes killing. If he had a choice, he would rather there would be no war in the world and people from all countries could live together in peace. Well, I just hope that the world can be peaceful and no war breaks out. It's a good idea, but it's just delusional. Qianyue didn't bother to pour cold water on it, because the war between humans would never end. It was like this before there were no ninjas, and it was still like this after the ninjas formed a system. It was a little calmer when Senju Hashirama was around. After all, the power of the god of ninja is here, and he can easily defeat other ninja villages. With a great god like him here, who dares to start a war? As soon as Senju Hashirama died, the first ninja war broke out. Even a man with water escape and full of forbidden arts, Senju Tobarama, couldn't control the situation. Qianyue, why do you think the war happened? Is it impossible for peace to exist in the ninja world? Maybe. After bumping Minato, Qianyue said angrily, It will be peaceful when you are dreaming at night. Go and wash your hands quickly. My greasy hands are still scratching your head. I won't let you down. Minato didn't notice it himself, and Qianyue felt uncomfortable just looking at it. Can't you just wash your hands before scratching them? Where did you learn this head-scratching action? I've known you for a few years, and you've been catching me for a few years. I haven't caught you enough yet. One day I might accidentally pick off a piece of my scalp. Minato wanted to hit someone for no reason. Forget it, you can't beat it, just endure it, and you will be at peace while dreaming. He was right. Indeed, the wish for peace in the ninja world can only be realized when dreaming. A frontline wounded unit returns to Konoha. Tired Tsunade wanted to go home and rest, but after thinking about it she came to the Hokage's office. Bump. The door to the Hokage's office was violently pushed open. Koharu and Mito Manabu, who were having a meeting in the office, frowned and were about to reprimand. After seeing clearly the true face of the visitor, he decisively turned off the engine. Tsunade, you are no longer a child, can't you be polite? Glancing at Koharu, who was accusing her, Tsunade didn't even think about talking to her and said directly to the third Hokage. Old man, all the wounded have been brought back. They are intact and have been sent to the hospital. They are just waiting for treatment and recovery. If nothing's wrong, I'll go back to sleep. I'm exhausted. I know you're not kind enough to ask me to return to the village, but you want me to come back with a large number of wounded people. Faced with Tsunade's accusation, the third Hokage, instead of being angry, smiled. Then you should go back and rest first. The wounded can get the best accommodation in the hospital. You have worked hard during this period. It's good that you know. I'm exhausted. I can't find anyone on the front line to play cards with me. It's so annoying. Tsunade felt that the dark circles under her eyes were getting heavier and her skin was getting worse. All this is caused by war. If the war hadn't broken out, she could have stayed in Konoha leisurely, occasionally pick up a few patients, make some extra money, and then go to the casino to have fun. This is simply a magical day. After the war came, Tsunade's good days were gone, and she was half exhausted every day on the front line. Damn Jiraiya, you still dare to laugh at me. I want you to look good when I go back. The third Hokage chose to ignore the latter sentence. Want someone to play cards with you on the battlefield? This is a dream. According to what you said, Jiraiya is still worried that there is no place to peep and collect information on the battlefield, so do I have to arrange for a few girls for him to collect materials at any time? The reminder is full, and the updates are enough. Red Heart.